From popcorn stand to millionaire, how one girl shocked 83 finalists at 3 a.m., the clock struck 3 in the morning, and a shroud of darkness enveloped the town like a heavy blanket. Down in the heart of Main Street, amidst the flickering street lamps, a crowd buzzed with anticipation. People gathered around a small popcorn stand, of all places, waiting for a girl named Lily. She was just 16, but she had a sparkle in her eye and an energy that crackled in the air. Everyone was there, curious, excited, and a little bit on edge, their faces illuminated by the faint glow of their phones, all waiting for what was to come. Little did they know, this night would redefine destiny. Just months earlier, Lily had a humble start. Every Saturday, she sold popcorn, not just for fun, but out of necessity. Her family struggled to get by, yet her spirit never faltered. But now, here she was, attracting 83 of the top finalists from around the country who were set to compete in the most bizarre contest they could imagine. It was said that the winner could walk away a millionaire. Whispers of riches floated through the crowd, electrifying the air. But Lily wasn't interested in the money. She was drawn by something deeper, a mysterious pull that called her to this moment. As the participants chatted nervously, sharing stories about their wild ambitions, a thick tension hung in the air. Some claimed they had secret strategies, others believed they had the magic touch. A hushed voice from the back, a round-faced man in a red windbreaker, compared their contest to a twisted game show, and the murmurs rose. "What if it's rigged? What if it's all a trap?" he said, his eyes darting around. The crowd leaned in, captivated by his wild speculations. The vibe shifted, excitement turned to anxiety as they studied the stand. A giant banner behind Lily read, "Every second counts, but for what?" Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The clock ticked down, and the atmosphere around the popcorn stand thickened with eager anticipation. Eyes darted as shadows flickered at the edges of the crowd, adding an air of uncertainty. Someone shouted, "What's taking so long?" Just then, the lights flickered and dimmed. Gasps rippled through the crowd as if time itself had paused. A hush fell over everything, and all that could be heard was the nervous rustling of jackets. Then, like a bolt of lightning, a shrill scream pierced the night. Who screamed? Why? Everyone turned, eyes wide, hearts racing, murmurs of fear spreading like wildfire. They had come for a show, but something felt dangerously amiss. Lily clutched her chest, her heart pounding, not just from the crowd, but from the weight of what she knew. Tonight wasn't just a contest. It was a reckoning. As she stood at the stand, a sudden craving for answers washed over her. What lay in store for her and the finalists? The night was nowhere near over, and reality was about to flip on its head. With feelings of dread and hope mingling inside her, she wondered, was she ready to face whatever was coming? In that compelling, hushed moment, a shattering realization rolled through the crowd. This was not just about winning, it was about survival. What would they all have to endure before dawn broke? And who, exactly, was the true mastermind behind this startling spectacle? The answers waited just beyond the shadows. The crowd remained frozen in place, eyes darting and hearts racing. The woman who had screamed stepped into the dim light, her face pale and trembling. "It's him!" she gasped, pointing a shaking finger into the dark corners of the street. "He's watching us." Everyone turned to look, the air thick with fear and curiosity. Lily squinted into the shadows but saw nothing. Still, an electric current coursed through the gathering, feeding off their collective anxiety. Whispers spread, each one charging the situation further. "Who's watching? Someone shouted, breaking the silence. The way the question hung in the air felt heavy, like a dark weight pressing down. Lily felt her stomach twist. Was this part of the contest? A trick? Or was someone truly out there, lurking, ready to turn this ordinary night into a nightmare? Before anyone could answer, a deep, gravelly voice cut through the chaos. You think this is a game? It echoed from the shadows, chilling enough to spark genuine dread among the group. Suddenly, the streetlights flickered back to life, illuminating the anxious faces of the 83 finalists. The figure in the shadows remained obscured but stepped forward just enough for the glow to catch a glimpse of a jagged mask. Lily gasped, a lump forming in her throat. What do you want? She called out, struggling to maintain her composure. The masked figure smirked, and it was a sight that sent chills racing down her spine. To win you must lose, he said cryptically, before stepping back, disappearing into the darkness again. Gasps erupted. Lose what? One finalist cried out. An uneasy buzzing rippled through the crowd, drowning out the sound of their breaths. Suddenly, the popcorn stand flickered and shook, then emitted a low rumble. With every passing second, the tension morphed into panic. Lily's heart raced as she peered back at the stand. What had they signed up for? This wasn't a contest, it was turning into some kind of twisted trial. Listen up! Yelled a tall girl with fiery red hair, shedding her fear to assume a role of leadership. If we don't band together, we could be picked off one by one. The others murmured in agreement, the idea solidifying like a lifeline in a storm, but Lily felt grounded, a mix of urgency and a desperate need to uncover the truth. She stepped forward. We have to find out who's behind this. Who was that? And why are they doing this to us? As the crowd sifted through options, voices clashed with each other. Plan after plan flickered before her, but Lily felt its severity. We need to trust each other. We can't let fear control us. She scanned the crowd, her eyes landing on faces filled with determination and doubt, clinging to hope like a fragile ember. The masked figure reappeared, suddenly closer than before, watching, grinning. A startling realization hit Lily, the next choice they made could change everything. Was it worth the risk to unravel the mystery? What happened if they failed? Then, with a crack that echoed ominously through the street, the popcorn stand erupted in a blaze of color. A swirl of confetti rained down, mixed with something dark and ominous thick, velvety shadows that danced mockingly around Lily and the others. Each finalist stood stunned as the shadows twisted and turned, enveloping them in an eerie glow. Time is ticking, the masked figure taunted, fading back into darkness, leaving behind the question lingering in the air: who would rise? Who would fall? The truth was unfolding, but would they be able to catch up before it was too late? Just as the tension peaked, a high-pitched siren blared in the distance, signaling that the night was far from over and the clock was counting down. What new horrors awaited them as the shadows began to shift? The shadows pulsed with an almost living energy, answering the taunts of their masked captor. Fear coursed through the crowd like electricity. Lily felt her heart thud against her ribcage, and she cast desperate glances around her, searching for any signs of hope. Stay together! The red-haired girl shouted, her voice breaking through the murmur of fear that had settled over the group. We don't know what he wants, but we can't let him isolate us. Lily moved closer to the girl, drawn to her confidence like a moth to a flame. What is your name? She asked, calling over the growing panic. Chloe. She replied, her eyes scanning the perimeter as if expecting a strike at any moment. And you're right, we need to figure out his game. What did he mean by lose? Before Lily could reply, the intercom crackled to life, shattering the tension with an unnatural clarity. Welcome to your ultimate challenge, finalists. The voice was synthetic, dripping with playful malice. Tonight, you'll face your greatest fears. Only those who confront them will have a chance to escape. A collective shudder rippled through the crowd. Lily gripped Chloe's hand tightly, feeling the sweat dampen her palm. What does that mean? As if anticipating their distress, the voice continued. You each hold secrets worth more than gold. Tonight, those secrets will either save you or lead you to doom. Find the darkness within you, confront what frightens you most, and you just might win. Lily's skin prickled at the words. What had she signed up for? Tremors of unspoken fears gripped her stomach. She thought back to the recent weeks of sleepless nights, worries about her future. Her heart raced as it dawned on her what if her own worst nightmare came to life. The crowd erupted in nervous chatter, voices overlapping in a cacophony of questions and dread. What are the secrets? Someone shouted. How do we confront them? Lily felt the weight of every gaze upon her. They were all counting on each other now, hanging by a thread of trust and panic. Maybe we should split up. Chloe suggested, her voice strained but insistent. Face whatever it is one by one, support each other through it. A murmur of agreement rose and fell throughout the group, uncertainty mixed with a desperate need to forge ahead. Yet, Lily hesitated. When had they ever truly known each other? What secrets would they unearth in the darkness? The shadows began to swirl more ferociously. Some shivered, yet others stepped forward, curiosity mingling with fear. I'll go first, bellowed a burly boy with a crew cut, shaking off the doubt. I'm ready to confront whatever's out there. Wait. Lily called out, but it was too late. He plunged into the shadows, his silhouette swallowed in a heartbeat. A tense silence fell, the group holding their breath. As seconds turned to minutes, whispers darted between the finalists like fireflies in the dark. Suddenly, a loud scream pierced through the night, an echo of despair that curdled the air. Get him back! Chloe screamed, eyes wide. We can't let him be alone. The fear was palpable. They were losing control of the situation. Without thinking, Lily grabbed Chloe's arm. We have to stick together. We need to go after him now. The two girls led a group into the thick shadows, hearts pounding with each step. But as they stepped further into the darkness, a chilling realization washed over Lily. Each step brought her closer to her own secrets, the pieces of her past she had fought so hard to keep hidden, and then, from behind them, the masked figure emerged once more, a dagger glimmering in his hand. Remember, he hissed, not all shadows are empty. The moment hung on a knife's edge, the air thick with fear and anticipation. What had they truly signed up for, and would they face their darkest truths before it was too late? The siren blared again, louder this time, and with it came a new urgency. Time was slipping away, and beneath the weight of their choices lay a terrifying possibility: would they emerge victorious or lose themselves forever in the darkness? The looming figure stepped closer, the dagger reflecting shards of eerie light across the darkened room. Lily's stomach twisted in knots. The chilling presence radiated fear that sent shivers racing down her spine. What do you want from us? She shouted, trying to sound brave, but her voice faltered. Chloe's grip tightened on Lily's arm, as if her touch alone could expand courage into them both. We want to let you scare us. She yelled, her voice rising defiantly, but doubt flickered in her eyes. With an unsettling laugh, the masked figure turned, as if to pluck at their fears. What lies within you is far more terrifying than me, he said, his voice slithering around them like fog, thickening the air. You'll need to face whatever darkness you carry or crumble. The crowd shifted uncomfortably, whispers merging into a frantic hum. The burly boy who had first leaped into the shadows remained absent, a tangible reminder of what happened when one ventured alone. What if they were next? What if he was already lost? One by one, sparkles of dread snapped through the group. We need to figure this out, a girl in the back whimpered, her voice barely reaching the front. Lily's heart sank. No one knew what loomed in the shadows for them. Chloe, what are we hiding? Lily whispered, her pulse hammering. The question clawed at her heart, demanding answers she wasn't ready to confront. Was it abandonment? Fear of failure? The faces of her childhood friends flashed in her mind. How many had drifted away? Chloe, sensing Lily's turmoil, turned her intensity to face the group. We stick together. If this is about fears, we expose them. Unity is our strength. The fervor in her eyes sparkled like hope igniting in darkness. More murmurs rippled through the group, some nodding in newfound determination. All right then. We'll face whatever it is together. A lanky boy called out, his hands shaking but his resolve unmistakable. Who goes first? Someone asked, insecurity thick in their tone. Not me. Another voice immediately piped in, fear evident. A heavy silence fell again, thick and suffocating. Lily could feel the weight of their indecision settling like a blanket. I'll go. She blurted, surprising even herself. I'm ready to face whatever this is, courage lending strength to her quaking voice, yet even as the words left her mouth, her heart recoiled with panic. The abyss of darkness beckoned, tempting her to retreat. Lily, you don't have to do this, Chloe urged, concern shadowing her features, but Lily shook her head, desperate to not be the one to shrink away. No, Chloe. If we don't face this now, we may lose everyone forever. Rounding up her courage, she took a hesitant step into the shifting shadows. They receded, enveloping her like a shroud. The air turned frigid, wrapping around her throat like icy fingers. Lily struggled against it but pressed on. The deeper she went, the more voices whispered her insecurities, echoing every failure she'd ever faced. You'll fail. You can't do this. The sounds taunted her, warping into sinister laughter. Suddenly, she stumbled over something cold and solid. Panic surged within her. What is this? She croaked, heart racing. Glancing down, she gasped. It was a forgotten memory, a photo of herself with her friends, fractured smiles suggesting untold stories of betrayal and loss. No. Not this. She wailed, lifting the photo higher. She felt foolish, as if this exposed her entirely. The shadows pulsed closer, curling around her. Just then, horror ripped through her as she saw the truth. Each figure in the picture morphed into the darkness, stretching, distorting into versions that mocked her. The faces bore her past regrets, and her vulnerability felt tangible. Lily spun, desperate to flee, but the shadows surged forward, whispering sweet dreads that sank into her like lead. Then Chloe's voice broke through, fierce as ever. Lily. Fight it. You're stronger than this. The encouragement surged through Lily, through every shadowed fear and regret. I am strong. She screamed, the power of her truth slicing through the darkness. She felt the shadows flicker, wavering under her newfound strength. Outside, the rest of the group held their collective breath in anticipation, confusion and urgency tilting the atmosphere, but would it really be enough to banish what lurked, waiting for her to succumb? In that moment, the masked figure reappeared, shadows coiling in his wake, a sinister grin stretching across his face. What did I say about not all shadows being empty? Fear clung to Lily's every thought, and as panic weaved its way back, she knew they were far from finished. What awaited them next? The race against darkness had only just begun. The shadows around Lily shifted, breathing life into the moment as if a great beast stirred from its slumber, hungry and eager to devour. The masked figure gazed at her, each breath he took echoing with anticipation. Do you really think you can face your worst fears? He taunted, his voice a venomous whisper that dripped with malice. Lily's heart pounded fiercely in her chest, drowning out the voices of her doubts. You don't know me. She shouted, desperate for her words to take root in the eerie silence that enveloped her. The strength she had summoned waned, but she refused to let it die. The air thickened around her, swirling with shadows that felt like cold fingers wrapping ever tighter. Why are you so afraid to confront your true self? The figure's eyes gleamed behind his mask, like glimmering shards of ice in a winter storm. Each syllable twisted like a knife, piercing through the remnants of her courage. Lily stumbled back, grappling with the shifting memories that danced around her. Each laugh, each face that had once filled her with joy now haunted her, fleshless specters of what once was. I am not afraid. She stammered, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her. Lily felt a jolt of heat from Chloe's unwavering support, it seeped through the shadows, a lifeline in the murky depths. Remember who you are. Chloe's call rang clear, striking a different chord in the chilling atmosphere. Remember what we mean to each other. Fueled by Chloe's words, Lily clutched the cold photograph tighter, its sharp edges biting into her palm. Memories surged. Friends united by laughter, dreams shared in the glow of summer evenings, now frayed and tattered like a broken promise. But weren't they also a part of her? Didn't they reflect her own journey of growth and change? Summoning every ounce of will, she glared at the masked figure. This is who I am. My past doesn't control me. The shadows recoiled, sensing the shift in her energy, wailing in protest. With each heartbeat, she felt the darkness retreat slightly, whispering threats that echoed in the corners of her mind. You think you've won? Your darkness is bound to return. Panic threatened to flush through her again, but she pressed on. I will never be defined by my fears. I will face them. Around her, the group murmured, eyes wide with terror and intrigue. They sensed the fight raging within her, stood at a precipice, waiting for her to either soar through the chaos or spiral downward into despair. Lily, keep going. Someone shouted, the words rippled through the collective like electricity, sparking adrenaline. The encouragement cascaded around her, wrapping her in warmth even as the cold darkness loomed large. Still, the masked figure smirked, looming closer, shadows pouring off him like a waterfall, caressing the air. But one enduring truth remains: your friends will break you before you know it. Lily caught her breath, a chill snaking down her spine. She locked eyes with the figure, then turned to her friends. They were scared, but there was something in their expressions now: determination, trust. And in that moment, she knew, the bond they shared grew from vulnerability and strength, a mosaic of shared humanity forged through hardship. As reality began to tilt precariously, something deeper stirred in the shadows, something ancient and vengeful. The air crackled as dark tendrils reached for each of them. You fight, but you cannot hide from what you really are. The masked figure raised his dagger, a menacing glint flickering with each heartbeat, as if the night itself held its breath, caught in a moment of perfect dread. What's worse? Your past or your future? His words echoed ominously, sending prickles racing across Lily's skin. With a final, determined scream, she lunged forward, ready to break through the veil of darkness once and for all. But as she collided with the shadows, they erupted with a deafening chaos that left everyone scrambling. In the nebulous quiet that succeeded the storm, they all stood trembling, each heart racing. What remained in the aftermath? Were they free? Or merely playing into the hands of something far darker? The masked figure's laughter echoed as they found themselves amid a labyrinth of flickering shadows, new horrors poised to strike. Would they find their way back to one another, or be lost forever in the dark? Lily's breath hitched as the shadows danced around them, twisting into grotesque shapes that seemed to reach for her like the claws of hidden monsters. Every heartbeat echoed like a war drum, amplifying the growing sense of panic. What had once felt like a fight against her inner demons now felt like a battle against something larger, more insidious. Chloe! Can you hear me? She shouted, her voice trembling. The darkness thickened, absorbing sound, and just as quickly snatching away her hope. They had been a team, facing the unimaginable together, but in this wretched labyrinth, uncertainty gnawed at her resolve. She reached for her friends, desperately clawing through the oppressive blackness. Stay close. We can't lose each other. A glimmer of panic broke through their faces, a shared fear dawning in their eyes, and her heart sank. The masked figure's laughter echoed, a sinister lullaby wrapping around them. The bonds of friendship won't save you from who you truly are. When faced with darkness, only your true self will emerge. How dreadful that truth is. Shut up! Someone yelled from the group, their voice breaking through the haze of shadows, snapping her back to the moment. Lily could see a flicker of bravery in the eyes of her friends. With their voices rallying around her like a shield, she felt the surge of hope return. She turned, taking a small step forward, and with it, the shadows twisted back slightly, apprehensive of her movement. We can't let him win. Lily urged, the fire within her reigniting. We're not going to let this darkness take us down. We confront whatever comes. In this shifting realm where her memories collided, visions flashed before her, friendship rings exchanged, sleepless nights filled with laughter, the comfort of hand-holding on cold nights. Each one cut through the shadow's grasp like a beacon lighting a way through despair, but as she gathered her courage, the masked figure lunged. His dagger gleamed, a promise of pain in its twisted shine, and almost instinctively, Lily stepped back. Shadows writhing, she caught the eyes of her friends, standing firm in the chaos. Their collective strength was palpable, even in fear. Remember what we're fighting for. She cried, voice steadying. We're not just fighting our fears, we're fighting for each other. As if answering her call, the shadows shrieked. Lightning crackled in the air, illuminating fleeting glimpses of her friends determined, unwavering. They formed a circle around her, hands clasped, anchoring each other against the pull of darkness. The figure sneered, stepping closer, and in a sudden flash of speed, he charged, aiming for the weakest link. Someone must fall, he believed. But they weren't weak. Each friend was a branch, intertwining fiercely under pressure. Together they stood strong, but the oppressive dark pressed against them, menacing and relentless. Fight back! Chloe shouted, almost a mantra as she held tight to Lily's hand. The warmth radiated between them, an invisible chain binding them against the encroaching dread. Lily's eyes lit up, and suddenly a wild idea struck. We're each other's light. We are unbreakable. The moment echoed with resolve, dispelling shadows creeping ever closer. A flash of memory struck Lily. A summer night, sparklers dancing in their hands, laughter filling the air. The past intertwined with the present, igniting something fierce and unstoppable. Now, how could they turn this moment? The shadows snarled, the mask shifting into a grimace as he realized the tide was turning. But before she could scream a plan, the darkness surged forward in one final push, angry that their resolve was growing. It coiled and compressed, demanding surrender, determined to swallow their resolve whole. What Lily didn't know was that buried deep within the shadows lay a secret her past had never revealed. A secret so potent that unveiling it could be the key to unraveling everything. With everything escalating rapidly, Lily had to make a choice: be swallowed by the void or venture deeper into the shadows, risking everything to find the truth that could save them all. And just as she opened her mouth to make a decision, a rumble echoed through the labyrinth, shaking the very fabric of their reality. Only in the heart of the beast will the truth be revealed. What did that mean? Would they all hold together, or would the shadows devour them? Lily felt the tremors beneath her feet echoing in her bones, panic swirling within her like a relentless storm. The rumble resonated louder, threatening to rip apart the very darkness that enclosed them. What does it mean? She murmured, voice barely breaking the suffocating silence, but a wave of uncertainty hit her hard. Whatever it is, we can't stand here. Chloe countered, determination igniting in her gaze. We need to move now. With her heart racing faster than ever, Lily nodded, not fully aware of where they were headed. They had to push forward. Retreating felt like an invitation for the shadows to close in, to finish what they'd started. Hand in hand, they advanced deeper into the black maw of the labyrinth. The shadows twisted and turned as if alive, reaching out with invisible tendrils, but every step away from the sinister figure seemed to weaken its grasp. Stand strong, she urged, feeling a flicker of power grow stronger in their tight circle. Each friend's energy vibrated against her skin, a lifeline entwined with love and courage. As they moved, shapes danced in the periphery, whispers and scraps of memories emerging briefly before melting back into the dark. Do you guys see that? Lily gasped, pointing to a flickering light to her left. Just shadows playing tricks, focus. Another voice shouted, but the glimmer persisted, drawing her closer. With a slow, cautious approach, Lily reached out. Her fingers brushed against something cool and solid, a wall. No, a door, looming against the darkness and radiating warmth. It felt right, her heart soared. Here. There's something. Lily, wait. Chloe warned, but it was too late. With a desperate push, she swung the door open, and a cascade of brilliant light flooded the immediate space, forcing back the shadows. Whoa! The group gasped, taken aback. Enveloped in the sudden brightness, they halted at the threshold, wonder mixing with fear. The chamber within was vast, stretching endlessly into the unknown, adorned with thousands of shimmering stars as if plucked from the night sky. But the air crackled with tension, and a thick mist rolled in, threatening to engulf the light. Their relief was snatched away as a chill ran up Lily's spine. What now? Suddenly, the ground shook again, but this tremor felt different, a pulse, a beat, alive. From the swirling mist emerged a figure, more imposing than before, the masked figure now rooted in deep shadows. You think you can escape? The heart of the beast yearns for the truth, and it always claims its prize. Not today. Lily yelled, the spirit of defiance rushing to her lips. We've come this far. You won't have us. Yet as she squared her shoulders, uncertainty seeped back in. The beauty of the chamber around them was both mesmerizing and deceptive. If the shadows were indeed sentient, they could just as easily swipe away their resolve. Chloe's voice trembled, breaking through the moment. What if the truth lives in one of us? Gasps erupted among the group, fear overtaking the flicker of courage they had shared. What Chloe suggested felt like a dagger, slicing through their friendship. No. We're not letting it play us against one another. Lily barked, trying to suppress the feeling of dread creeping back. But with their fear laid bare like fresh wounds, would that revelation bring them closer to victory, or ultimately fracture their unity? No time to ponder as the masked figure surged forward, shadows gathering like a storm. The ancient echoes roared, demanding a resolution. Only in unity will you uncover your truth. At that moment, the shadows twisted violently, feeding off their uncertainty and longing for betrayal. Would they unravel the secret hidden within them or fracture under pressure? With a chill in the air and hearts beating like drums, they faced a choice that could change everything forever. Would they stand strong together or crumble when the truth was revealed? The figure lunged, and Lily knew their only hope sat hidden within the heart of the beast. But could they truly face the truth together, or would it tear them apart? Once and for all. Just as the masked figure lunged, a blinding flash erupted from the core of the chamber, freezing time for a heart-stopping moment. The air grew electric, charged with energy as if the very fabric of reality trembled. Lily's mind raced. Trust had always been the glue binding them, but fear had started to worm its way in. Stick together. She shouted, clutching Chloe's hand tighter. Their friendship felt like a lifeline against the shadows wailing at their backs. But in the depths of the darkness, the figure reeled back, an unexpected shiver crossing its features. Was it surprise? It hesitated, its form flickering, as if the light threatened to unravel its very essence. The mist shifted, swirling faster, drawn toward the power emitted from their interconnected hands. Keep focusing. Chloe shouted, her voice strained yet resolute. Whatever it is, don't let it break us apart. As they concentrated on each other, memories flooded Lily's mind, their laughter around fires, sharing secrets under stars, the times they battled their fears together. Those cherished moments solidified into something tangible, a spark that grew brighter. The masked figure snarled, its voice slashing through the chamber like razor wire. Your bonds will be your undoing. The shadows convulsed, eager to claim their strength. But with a deep breath, Lily turned to face the figure, her heart pounding. No. We choose our truth. You can't take it from us. With those words, the air thickened, the ground thumping beneath them like a heartbeat. The light surged as if answering her declaration, coiling around each of them. Was it warmth? Surely it was strength, a beacon to pierce through despair. Now the figure looked panicked, grappling with the burgeoning energy. What is this? It growled, shadows crawling back into the folds. Lily pushed forward, her pulse roaring in her ears. This isn't your realm. We are not merely pawns. Each step felt like stepping on ice, but the warmth radiating from their bond prevented her from slipping. Then Chloe's grip faltered for the briefest moment, and Lily's heart sank. Their connection quivered, the pulsing light dimming. "No!" she cried out, reaching desperately for her friend. "We need each other, Chloe. Don't let it in." Chloe's eyes narrowed, determination flooding back as she recoiled from the shadows that beckoned her. "I won't let it. I promise." Just then, a deafening roar filled the chamber. The walls vibrated as the space constricted, pushing in, threatening to crush them under the weight of the shadows. The ground began to crack, fissures forming, dark tendrils reaching from below. "We can't hold it back alone," one of their friends screamed, panic thrumming in the air. "Then we won together," Lily shouted, her voice anchoring back to their unity as the fear subsided. They formed a circle, joining hands again, pouring everything they had into their bond, their memories, their hopes, their very essence. That shared belief crystallized into a single note, a war cry that rang through the chamber, resonating off the walls, crescendoing into a pulse like a beating heart. A burst of radiant light exploded outward, illuminating the chamber, swallowing the shadow's hold in that moment. A truth as chilling as it was liberating washed over Lily. The power they wielded was more than just friendship. It was the truth that connected them, and they had yet to uncover the entirety of it, but before she could process that revelation, the ground quaked violently, and the masked figure roared in fury as it disappeared into the abyss. The light flickered, the chamber beginning to collapse around them. "Run!" Chloe yelled, and they surged forward, scrambling away from the disintegrating room that had once teemed with possibilities. As they raced into the dark tunnel, Lily couldn't shake the unease settling deep in her gut. They stumbled onto something monumental, but what lay ahead could change everything. Would they truly be able to confront whatever truth awaited them beyond the threshold, or was the darkest part of their journey just beginning? The tunnel's mouth yawned wide, a black maw that seemed to swallow the dim remnants of light. Each step they took crunched on the gravel-like ground, and echoes of their hurried breaths ricocheted off the textured stone walls. Adrenaline surged in Lily's veins, bringing a strange mix of terror and exhilaration. "Where are we even going?" whispered one of their friends, her voice tinged with panic. "There's got to be an end to this," Chloe replied, trying to sound confident. But Lily could sense the tremor beneath her words. The tunnel twisted and turned, becoming narrower until they were practically shoulder to shoulder, pushing against the chilling stone. The oppressive darkness felt alive, and Lily felt it creep at her heels. It was as if the shadows were gathering, waiting, plotting. Then it happened. An echoing roar reverberated from somewhere deep within the tunnel. A shudder ripped through Lily, causing her to stumble. What was that? Someone ahead breathed out, eyes wide. "I don't know," Lily admitted, terror pooling in her stomach. "But we need to keep moving." With renewed urgency, they pressed on, but as they ventured deeper, the atmosphere shifted. It felt thicker, saturated with an invisible weight. Lily could hardly breathe, her mind racing with thoughts of the figure they had just faced. It had been powerful, and this shadowy tunnel made her doubt their victory. "Wait!" Chloe suddenly halted, tugging on Lily's arm. "Do you hear that?" Silence enveloped them almost. There was a distant whispering that twisted around them, whispering fears into their minds and chiseling doubts into their hearts. It was dizzying. Guys, Anna, another friend, looked pale, her voice trembling. "What if that thing is still following us? What if we're walking right into a trap?" Another friend added, eyes darting back the way they come. Lily felt her heart slam against her chest. They couldn't fall apart now. "No!" she yelled, her voice rising against the dissonant whispers. "We can't let fear win. We need to push through." They nodded, but the hesitation lingered like a thick fog. Following Lily's lead, they propelled themselves into the unknown, feet pounding against the ground. They could not turn back. Out of the darkness, the walls began to pulse with a faint blue light, flickering like fading stars. The further they went, the brighter it became, igniting hope alongside their fear. "What is happening?" Chloe asked, her holding on to Lily's arm tighter, as though the light might vanish. I don't know, but we have to keep going, Lily said, the glow guiding their steps. Then, just ahead, they saw what appeared to be an exit, a shimmering portal, like a waterfall of light. But it wasn't merely soothing, it also emanated an unsettling energy, a seductive call that promised safety yet whispered of dangers untold. Is that a way out? One friend dared to hope, gazing at the shifting colors. What if it's a trick? Chloe remained hesitant, crossing her arms tightly. Lily felt a surge of determination. We'll never know unless we try. It's a chance we have to take. We faced the darkness. We can face this, too. With a collective breath, they moved toward the portal, but as they approached, a figure flickered in and out of view, standing just inside the light. The hairs on the back of Lily's neck stood up. Who or what is that? She murmured, as the form morphed into something recognizable yet corrupted, a nightmare reflection of each of them. Suddenly, the portal pulsed violently, crackling as if it were alive with unspeakable currents. In that moment, Lily's stomach dropped. What if crossing over was not the escape but the beginning of a greater nightmare? They hesitated just outside the edge of the light, fear clawing at their insides. The whispers surged again, now mixed with a cacophony of their own thoughts: doubt, regret, uncertainty. What awaited them beyond the threshold would transform them forever. But that shadowy figure loomed ominously closer, and panic gripped their hearts. Lily! Chloe shouted, her voice barely piercing through the chaos. What do we do? Together we have to go together. The urgency hung in the air, thick like smoke. And in that moment, every heartbeat resonated with the question, were they prepared to confront the truth that lay beyond, or would it tear them apart? A heavy silence filled the air as Lily, Chloe, and the rest of their friends stood at the precipice of the mysterious portal. Their breaths mingled with the whispers cascading from the shadows behind them, threatening to pull them back into the depths of despair. It was time to decide. They either moved forward together or let the darkness claim them one by one. We stick together. Lily urged, her voice steady despite the tempest of fear swirling inside her. We've faced everything already, and we can't give up now. Her friends looked at each other, fear and determination flickering like sparks in their eyes. Chloe squeezed Lily's hand, grounding her in the moment. Let us take that leap, she murmured. Together. With resolute nods from the group, they formed a tight circle, each clasping the hand of the person beside them. On 3, Lily said, her heart racing. 1, 2, 3. They surged forward as one. The moment they passed into the shimmering portal, a wave of warmth enveloped them like a blanket, pushing back the chill of the darkness. The bright light engulfed them, and it felt as if they were being reborn, freed from the haunting whispers of their fears. They tumbled out the other side, landing on soft grass under a clear night sky. The air was cool and fresh, as if they had emerged from a storm into serene peace. But the calm didn't last. They felt a palpable energy in the air, a residual tension that reminded them of everything they'd faced. As they collected themselves, Lily glanced around. They stood in a vast meadow illuminated by luminescent stars, and in the distance, a grand tree silhouetted against the night sky towered majestically. It beckoned them. With a shared look of both relief and determination, they moved toward it. With each step forward, echoes of laughter and memories shared filled the space. The energy pulsed through them, a reminder that they had survived together. Look, Chloe pointed, her voice a mix of awe and excitement. As they approached the tree, Lily noticed small lights bobbing around it, each resembling a moment shared between them: birthday celebrations, silly inside jokes, late-night talks. Suddenly, as if sensing their presence, the tree's branches swayed in a gentle breeze, and a soft voice filled the air. You faced your darkness, confronted your fears, and now you've emerged stronger than before. Lily took a deep breath, a wave of emotions crashing over her. What now? She asked, needing to know what this moment meant. You must choose what you take from this experience, the tree whispered, its mighty voice resonating deep within their hearts. You each carry a piece of truth, and only by embracing it can you create your paths moving forward. The reality of their journey washed over them. They had come to realize that facing fears was a communal experience. They no longer bore the burden alone. With newfound strength, they turned to each other. "I've been so afraid of disappointing everyone," a girl spoke up, breaking the silence. "But I learned that honesty is more powerful than fear. And I realized," another chimed in, "that friendship isn't just a safety net, it's a lifeline that holds you up when you're too weak to stand alone." One by one, they shared their truths, weaving narratives that glowed with potential, like stars in the sky. With every revelation, the aura surrounding them brightened, infusing the air with hope. As their truths intertwined, the shadows began to dissipate, fading into the past. The masked figure that had haunted them was nothing more than a specter of their own insecurities and doubts. Lily felt lighter, liberated from chains she hadn't realized she was bound by. Chloe stepped forward. "Together, we can conquer the world." Her declaration rang true, filling them with renewed energy and enthusiasm. The sensation buzzed through them. They weren't just survivors, they were warriors, ready to take on whatever life threw their way. And as they embraced, the universe seemed to align with them, echoing their victories and awakening what was possible. This was the moment where everything connected. Their struggles had forged an unbreakable bond, one that they would carry with them into whatever came next. They knew they would face challenges, but now, they were armed with truths and unshakable love. With a final look around the meadow, Lily understood. They were free, not just from the shadows but from the constraints of doubt. They transformed. "It's time to start a new chapter," she whispered, and as the stars twinkled in agreement, they set off together into the night, hearts open and ready for the story that awaited. The adventure wasn't over, it had only just begun. Now, before you head off into your next adventure, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories we've got lined up just for you. This is the moment to show your support for all that we do. If you loved this conclusion, smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and keep our community thriving, and I want to hear from you. Flood that comment section with your reactions and theories about what comes next. Your thoughts matter, and sharing them enriches our journey together. Don't wait even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this epic conclusion. Let's spread the inspiration and keep the love flowing. Remember, only true fans understand the importance of supporting our channel through these actions.